I just started sharing the screen. Please let me know you guys able to hear, my audio as well as you can see my screen. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, good. So welcome back from the long weekend and the Christmas enjoyment was done. We will slowly start the session. Some of the participants had to be joined. So So we were discussing the budget entry methods. We were into the resource list. Resource list was done. The budget entry method. We are. Okay. So we define one budget entry method, right? Okay, cloud top task a baseline. So this is for my revenue budget. That is why I entered, when I want to allocate the fundings against my, task or the resource, how I would like to enter the budget. So within the revenue budget, what are all the elements I need to enter? So quantity I would like to enter and revenue I would like to enter. That is why I went through this quantity and revenue, and this is the date range. So I would like to allocate the fundings like between from and to. So that is what the date range. I'm not going by the funding allocations by PA period or the GL periods, but some of the customers may ask you to differentiate the budgets by period wise. So you can go ahead and select the PA period, or if he wants from GL period wise, then we can go ahead and enable the option of GL period wise. Okay, so I'm going with the top task. Similarly, I would like to, this is one, and second one is so I would like to define another budget entry method for my cost budget. Okay. So I'm just giving a name. So this is my entry method, and I'm going with some of the back dates. So just going with the effective date is 20th December. Okay. So lowest tasks, I would like to enter the budget at the lowest task. I'm not going by the project wise or the top task wise, because I would like to enter this for my cost budget. So for the costing purpose, we have written two thumb rules. The first one is all lowest tasks are chargeable. So which means all charges or the expenditures we can enter at lowest level. So that is why I selected the lowest tasks here. Okay. And next, cost enterable fields. So what you want to enter? I would like to enter the cost and I would like to enter the quantity. So both quantity and raw cost I would like to enter, and the burden cost, I don't want to enter the burden cost, okay, in the budgets. All right. And I'm not going by the revenue enterable fields because this is the budget entry method I will use for my costing purpose, not the revenue. So here is one more time the date range. I'm selecting the date range. You guys know already this pick list is showing the 4 values: GL period, TA period, none, and date range, right? So for costing also, I would like to enter the budgets using date range. So we'll clearly see this option. When we enter the budget, system will show us from and to. Therefore, that from and to conditions are coming from the time based by. Okay. So categorized by resource and date range I'm selecting here. Okay. Just save this. So I entered this one. All right. So these are the budget entry methods. So any questions here? Next, we can move to the change reason. So we'll see what is change reason and how we need to set up, where exactly. So the meeting telephone number.
One question, what is raw cost and burden cost? Will you explain later?
Yes, yeah. In burden topic, we'll clearly see what is the raw cost and burden cost. Just give you a flavor. Okay, the actual cost incurred against any task or in a project, we call it as the raw cost. Okay, the overhead cost upon your raw cost is called your burden cost. Okay, so there are differences in the definitions: raw cost, burden cost, burdened cost. Okay, so at the moment I just wanted to give you here, raw cost is the actual cost, burden cost is the overheads upon your raw cost. For example, an organization is maintaining a rented infrastructure or a building. Okay, so the whatever the building related to expenses, actually along with the agreement, whatever they are doing, they will pay as a raw cost on the billing expenditures. Okay, and if any additional expenditures are incurring over the buildings like maintenance and any repairs, so any additional, so raw cost plus your additional cost, okay, overheads. And if you take an professional industry, employee salary is a raw cost, for example, and every organization is providing some additional facilities or infrastructure to an employee, such as your bridge coordinates, your telephone, and your laptop, or any your secure IDs, VPN tokens. These are the additional cost over your raw cost. So if they calculate the total expense and an employee, they will take your original salary plus all these overheads. So raw cost plus overheads will be equal to your burden cost. So I mean to say, not the plus equation. Once the plus coming, it becomes a burdened cost. The overhead cost I'm talking about, the burden cost. Salary is 1 lakh, and additional other expenses such as all those your rates, VPN, say 20k. The 20k overhead will be the burden cost. Okay. So I will clearly explain system, some of the project operations. You can see the burden, the cost, how system is going to calculate. So 100k is your salary, for example. 100k is raw cost, 20k your burden cost, 120k your burden cost. So we'll see all those equations formula wise, and system has to calculate. We need to do so many things around the burden cost. Is that clear?
Yes, yes. Thank you.
Yeah, someone can ping the meeting number or the call coordinates in the chat window, because one of the participants is asking the telephone number to dial in. Okay. I'm moving to the another topic or another setup related to the budget. Is nothing but the change reason. Okay. So let's navigate to the change reason. Here is the change reason. Navigation is same. You can see at navigator, setup budgets, change reasons. So I'm going here. It's a predefined lookup. Okay. We have here. So the change reasons are generally when you set up a budget throughout an year or the particular period, against your requirement. There are some cases where the customer will come back and ask you an additional work, right, which is not there in the scope, can be out of scope. So when you are preparing the system, the scope was not calculated or it is not there. But once the system has been ready, scope can be changed. Additional scope can be incorporated. So due to additional scope, there may be definitely impact of your financials. So you need to enter a new version of your budget. Initially your cost setup is 50k, and due to the scope change, it may goes up to 60k. So you have to change the budget versions based on version number 1 to version number 3,